Chris, can you update us first of all with any injury news?
Yeah, we've only got 2 out at the minute, so that means we're just about as healthy as we've been for the entirety of 2018, which I suppose with how we're playing at the minute is a real positive. Seb Ikehifo and Matthew English. Obviously Seb's out for the year, and Matthew is out of his pot in a couple of weeks. So Matty might be 3-4 weeks off, depending on how he is, how his hand and wrist is once it's out of the pot. But apart from that, we're looking good. Makes such a difference in training, obviously, having as many fit bodies on board as possible, and it just improves the training, and we're not having to bring quite as many academy players in, and the standard of training's been really high over the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks. So long may that continue. Touch wood, we don't pick up any more injuries.
It's a massive difference from before Simon was here, isn't it?
Sure is. You know, and I think you see the effect of injuries on a few teams at the minute. You know, you could look at Hull FC and how their season's dipped off over the last couple of months. So you know, it's been quite a turnaround, and I guess there's no coincidence that our form has turned around with the fact that we've had a lot more fit bodies available and to select from.
And what about the mood in the camp? That must also be soaring.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, a happy workplace is an efficient workplace, and it's a productive workplace, and that's what it is at the minute. Everyone's enjoying coming to work. You know, the main factor is because we're winning, but is that a byproduct of because they're enjoying their environment? You know, so one's got to come first, and I don't really care which comes first as long as it continues.
Wakefield next. What do you make of them? What sort of test will they present us with?
Yeah, well, it'll actually be the 5th time we've played them this year. We played them in pre-season. We played them 3 times in league, and I know we've won the last 3 league games against them. So I know for a fact they'll have a point to prove. I know they won't want to go 0-4 against Huddersfield, who are, you know, local rivals. So we're prepared for a really tough game. They have posed some real offensive threat, even without David Fafita. You know, you've got a potent back 5. You know, from 1 to 5, particularly the 2 centres, Bill Tupou and Rhys Lynn, can carry a ball as good as any outside back in the competition. You know, Jacob Miller has more try assists than anybody else in Super League. And then you've got people like Paulie in the pack who can be as devastating as anybody carrying the ball too. So we're well aware of their threats. You know, we've done pretty well to handle them over the course of the season, but we're certainly not going to underestimate Wakefield.
The way we're playing though, really, anyone in the competition should be quite fearful of what we've got to offer, shouldn't they?
Yeah, you know, but we don't want to be complacent either. You know, winning's a good habit. We've got a lot of momentum, but I guess with the environment that we're creating at the minute, we're accumulating as many good days as possible, and that manifests itself on a Friday night, and that's all we're doing at the minute. So we're focused on our day-to-day involvement, and that in return will ensure a good performance on Friday night. And like I say, you know, we've been focusing on ourselves a lot, but this week with what we've done to Wakefield this year already, you know, we would expect a real response from Wakefield.
4 points in it when you look at the top 4, between us and the top 4,
yeah.
And obviously Warrington, off the back of what happened at the weekend,
yeah.
we're maybe looking to Hull FC to do us a bit of a favour on Thursday night, but that gap is enticingly close, isn't it?
It is, and look, we earmarked the Warrington game, and Simon always said, you know, we'll look after our first 3 games. We'll take one at a time. You know, we've stuck to our assignment. We've won our first, we've won our second, and this 3rd one is as important as any game we've had this year. And like I say, that's why we're not going to be complacent, and our eyes will be on the Warrington match when they need to be on the Warrington match. But we are fully focused on Wakefield first and foremost. And obviously, with the Warrington game being before ours on the Thursday night, we'll have an eye on that. But if we just keep building pressure, if we keep, you know, doing and controlling what we can control, you know, that's all we can do right now.
The performances recently, attack-wise, have been fantastic, haven't they? There's been some great tries going in. Must be very pleasing as a coaching staff.
It is. We've spoken a lot about our defence, but I do think that our offence has been improving. Kind of 3, 4, 5% every single week, and it's just having a good eye for detail, attention to detail in training, in video analysis, and the boys are buying in. Everybody understands their role, and when everybody's on the same page and everybody understands their role, then good things happen. And I guess our wingers particularly are getting some reward for that, particularly Darnell on that left wing, and it's great to see Leroy and Jermaine kind of forging that combination that we know they're capable of. So yeah, it's as a coach, as the offensive coach, it's really pleasing to watch. It's enjoyable, and it's just nice playing rugby league with a smile on your face and scoring points. So hopefully that continues this Friday.
Can you just tell us a little bit about Tom, the lad coming in from Featherstone? Obviously, we've announced that signing on a 3-year deal, but he's out injured at the moment, obviously.
Well, young, talented English halfback, and there aren't many about, are there? So we thought it was too good an opportunity to miss in signing Tom. A bit unfortunate to leave Castleford, and maybe if Castleford had the time again, maybe they wouldn't have got rid. I'm not too sure, but. I've always known how talented Tom was, and obviously since Simon came in, we watched a fair bit of footage on him, and he went back to the Championship as a young halfback to kind of just reevaluate his career and where he was going, and I think he's probably realised that having a good solid year in the Championship, although he got injured just at the back end of it, was kind of stood him in good stead, and he's always been on our radar. It's been on our radar for a little while, and what he will do is strengthen our halves and potentially a bit at hooker as well. And I know he's a real competitor. He's very talented. He's got some really good attributes as a half. He's a bit cheeky, which is good as a halfback. He doesn't mind bossing the big boys around in the middle of the field. So, like I say, no positions are set in stone for next year, although Bruffy and Gasky are going really well at 6 and 7 right now. We know how talented Oliver Russell is, so competition for places is good, and Tom will certainly bring that.
And in general terms, and moving on from that, obviously, you must feel that we're putting some very positive building blocks in place for next season, even at this stage with a lot still to play for.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously recruitment's not finished just yet, but the thing that excites me more than anything is how good the squad is right now, and the fact that we're not really going to lose anybody next year that are having a really influential say in our campaign this year, and that's the most exciting thing for me. The other thing is the next crop of youngsters coming through the academy. The academy are sitting in 4th spot in the academy league, and I watch every single one of their games. They partake in quite a lot of our training sessions, and I get to influence what they do too. So, right now it's hard to look at a negative at the club with how everything's going. But that's just down to hard work and people doing their job consistently. And that's, as a staff, that's what we'll keep driving.
Brilliant. Thanks, man.
And just finally, Chris, a word on Akuma Tai and Alex Mellor, who've got a milestone game this weekend.
Yes. If I'm right, it's Alex's 100th and Akuma's 200th. I guess I'll talk about Akuma first because he's been a mainstay of our pack for a very long time. I think 5 or 6 years he's been here. He's been here as long as I've been back at the club in my coaching career back at the Giants. And Akuma, we signed him as a relatively young man, and he's a real leader for us now. And he's every year he's grown as a man and a rugby league player and a leader of the group. And he doesn't say a great deal, but he's a great leader of by actions. And just one of those guys you love to have around the place. And I tell you what, I was talking to our staff the other day. I was talking to Simon and Robbo and Mark about him, and I wouldn't swap Akuma for many forwards in the Super League, if I'm honest. and that's testament to his attitude and his work ethic, because he's a great role model for the young kids coming through. And 200 career games is pretty good. And Alex too. When we signed Alex from Bradford, we signed him as a bit of a utility, a bit of cover, and the progress Alex has made in the last sort of 12 months has been really significant. Very impressive young man, great athlete, probably just what you want as a back row.